Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to another daily dice where we ask the dice for a message and find out what that is. Do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time in this space with you. And if you are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. We do things completely differently here on this channel, so with that in mind, if the messages do resonate moving forward, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. With that, I did get a channeled message that says they regret how they treated you, and I love that regret came out on the bottom of the Soul's Journey deck when I was getting ready for this, which is why I have it facing up, because it felt very synchronistic. And that's why I chose this deck to choose a card from today. This is the Soul's Journey Oracle by James Van Praagh, if you're wondering what deck this is. So let's go ahead and shuffle and get a card here and see if Source can tell us some more about this. Yeah, there's a lot of blame that's coming through as well. So Source, they regret how they treated my fellow humans. What more would you like to tell them today about this? They regret how they treated my fellow humans. They're very lonely right now. They're watching you grow and they feel very alone. They're watching you be happy and free and they feel stuck. They regret how they treated my fellow human. What more would you like to say? They feel like a failure. They feel like you have somebody else in your life right now, like a friend or someone else that you can connect with that's not them. They regret how they treated my fellow humans today. Source, what more would you like to say? Okay, you're going to get 2 cards. Alright, on the bottom, love. It's interesting because it says, I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. It's like interesting because they actually do love you. Right? They do love you, but they don't know how to show how they love you because they're living in their wounds. They're living in their pain. And, you know, they wish they could change that, but they don't want to face the part of themselves that is the shadow. And so they regret that they didn't give you the love that you deserved, but the truth is that they don't know how. They don't know how to be that person. They don't know how to step up to that plate. Source, they regret how they treated my fellow human. What more would you like to share with us today? They regret how they treated my fellow human. What else would you like to say? Oh, okay, we've got Virgo, the North Node, and the 2nd house. You're doing everything that you were meant to do. And they're not a part of that. And they don't get to be a part of that. You're loving yourself, you're seeing your value, you're attracting wealth to you. And they're left out in the cold and they don't know. They don't know what's next for you. They don't know how well you're doing. They just know that you're doing good. They know that you're succeeding. They know that you're making strides. Right? And then the other thing is that you're not rubbing it in anybody's faces like, oh, I finally did it. Like, screw you. You should have never treated me that way. Because I feel like they really expected you to come back and say stuff like that to them. Expected you to be like, you know what, you deserve whatever is happening to you because you're such a jerk and, you know, like, I'm succeeding and I'm doing well, but, you know, it's like the last thing on your mind. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't make anybody feel any better. But they felt like that's what you would have done. Because here's the thing, if the roles were reversed, that's exactly what they would have done. And they know that. And part of your North Node energy was letting this go. Right? You having to step up into your truth and into that power that exists within you. But it's a soft power. It's a very feminine power. It's a very innocent power. This is not a, I'm King Kong, rah, let me hear, you know, let the whole world hear me roar. That's not what this is. It's a soft power that comes in like a silent thief in the night. That's altering everything you touch. With love and with compassion. And they saw that because they've benefited from that. They benefited from knowing you in that way. Whatever that was. This could be a friend, a family member, this could be a lover, an ex-lover, you know, whatever. But now they regret treating you how they treated you because they didn't know how much you meant to them. And that's hard, right? That's hard to hear readers say. It's hard when it comes out in the cards. It's hard when it comes across in any reading or any situation, because it's like, well, they should have known. But they just didn't have the capacity to open themselves up to the type of love that you were ready to give. And now they feel like they've lost the best possible thing that they'd ever get in their life, which is very valid. It's very valid. Because no one is like you, and no one that they ever meet in their life will ever be like you. And they wish that they had treated you with more respect. And they wish that they had treated you with more kindness. And allowed stability to grow between you and them. And I feel like you tried many, many times to create stability between you and them. But they just kept you at arm's length. And they kept you at arm's length. And eventually you get tired of it, right? You grow tired of being at that place where it's like you can't expect me to be everything I'm gonna be when you're not adding anything to the situation, to the relationship, right? But it does feel like that's what they wanted for a long time. They wish they could start over with you, offer you something more, but they're really nervous, and they want your approval. They want you to validate them again, because I feel like that's what you were doing before. You were validating them, but now you're not, and they're having to face that part of themselves, like, because no one's around to fill those shoes. No one validated them the way that you did. They feel like it's unfair, but they know that that's the thing, like, they feel like it's unfair, but they know what they did wrong. They know what they did wrong. They regret that, right? They know that they treated you wrong. They feel like it's unfair. It's almost like they would have still been happy if you had been ignorant to their actions. They would have still been manipulating you. They still would have been gaslighting you, right? They still would have been a very toxic connection to you. So it's like they regret how they treated you because now they don't get the benefit of you. And yeah, I know, they do love you, right? We see that out on the bottom of the deck. They do love you. But their version and their idea of love comes from a very hurt and distorted reality. Alright. So on the bottom of the deck, yeah, we've got the Three of Cups. They're watching you build a life of happiness and celebration without them. They're watching you grow. You could have even gone on and met someone new and started a family with someone new, and they have to watch that now. They have to watch that from afar. They can't be a part of that. They don't get to be a part of that. Right? They had their chance when they had their chance. And I don't feel like this is necessarily an apology. No, and it could be family here with Judgment in reverse. With Judgment anyways, but it could be family, but it's also showing it's like they also realize that now the way they treated you had to tell people, like you had to put that on blast. So you had to tell their family, well, this is what they did. And maybe for a while, I didn't mean to hit the camera. Maybe for a while their family believed them over you, but then suddenly things switched. And when they switched, their family started believing and trusting you because you left. You drew your whole energy away. It's like, I'm not going to stick around and try to convince you all of the way this person is showing up. You either believe me or you don't. And if you don't, that's fine. And if you do, that's fine too. But I'm not going to stick around and keep myself in this situation just because you all want to believe them over me. That's not how this works. Yeah, the Ten of Swords. Interesting. Wow. This person did not understand what your boundaries were. They crossed your boundaries at every chance they could. And it's almost like they couldn't help it, right? It's like so driven by the subconscious, something that was on autopilot for them, something that they couldn't get away from. Just like, oh, you set a boundary, and they would just cross it because that's what they'd always done in their life with people in their lives. It wasn't just you. They did this with a lot of people. But the reason they regret it with you is because of how different you were from everyone. So it's like I keep getting you were, and I don't know if you just said this out loud, but I just heard someone, well, I was just their supply. That's what I heard. And so it's like, maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. But again, this person's idea of love is very distorted. So whether you were a supply for them or not, they really do believe in their heart that they loved you, that they still love you. They really do believe that, okay? That's not me trying to convince you or anything. You know what you experience with this person. Nor is that me over here trying to tell you, oh, they're not toxic. No, this was a very toxic situation. Okay, this was an incredibly toxic, especially the Ten of Swords here. This is someone that, it's like when you wanted peace, this is someone who created chaos. When you were happy, they were upset. But when you were upset, they were happy. Right? This is someone who everything that you wanted to do to go down this road, they did everything in their power to try to veer off over this road. Do the complete opposite. Okay, that's what this person was like. There was a lot of hopeless situations. There was a lot of destruction here. There was a lot of guilt and fear and shame built into this relationship, into this connection. Remembering that you didn't deserve what this person put you through, but they do regret how they treated you. And maybe you can just take from that, well, they regret it because I'm no longer there. But they regret it because no one that they've ever met have they ever felt the same way about that they felt about you. And that's why they really believe in their heart that they loved you. Okay? Regardless if that was your version of love or not, that was this person's version of love and the only love that they had to give. They've never felt that with another person, and that's another reason why they deeply regret what they did and how they treated you. And it's hard. It's hard for them to process. It's hard for them to go through this and say like, oh, I can move on. They've seen you move on. And even if you're single, you're still moved on from them. Right? Which you should. Good for you. I want you to know, like, I'm applauding you. I'm proud of you for choosing yourself. Because this takes a lot of courage, especially when, you put so much energy and effort into a situation. It takes a lot of courage and effort to move on for yourself. Servant, wow. So we have delight in serving others with a free and loving heart, and the shadow is using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. So I do feel like there was a lot of money struggles here, but also when I turned this over, I got this energy where it's like this was a master-servant situation. In essence, they do not want me to say this. In essence, this person expected you to do everything for them, and they felt like they deserved the title of master in your life, or boss, or the ultimate, person in your life. Right, and that you were nothing more than just the dirt under their shoes. But that is their mind. That's how their mind works when it comes to love. So that's probably the type of love that they grew up around. They grew up around a mother and a father where one of their parents was in that servant position and the other was in the oppressor position. And so for them, that's how they learned to love. Right? And so there was the oppressor and then everybody else was the servant. Yeah, look, we have the fourth house here. Cultural and family roots, home, peace, and comfort. This is what they grew up being comfortable with. This is what they grew up accepting as a reality in their life. That's what I'm saying. Like, they regret it because you're not there, but they still have a ton of healing to do. This is someone who is not ready to face those darker parts of themselves. I don't know if they ever will be in this life. Maybe as they get older, but right now they're just not ready to face that part of themselves. Yeah, negativity. Like a dark cloud above you, are depressed, extreme moods. Yeah, this is someone who was like really back and forth, had very difficult anger, had very heavy anger. I feel like blamed you for everything. Everything was your fault. You were never good enough. Passive aggressive, overbearing, controlling, unforgiving is coming through. Codependency, wow. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. Yeah, so there's codependency between you and them. And Source is just pointing that out. Right? Let's get a couple of these. Source, what more would you like to say? They regret what they did to my fellow humans, how they treated them. Interesting. Like one more. Yeah, okay. On the bottom, ghosted. Disappear, silence, ignored, rejected. So they could have ghosted you. I actually feel like you're the person who had to ghost them. I feel like you had to for your sanity. I feel like you just had to walk away for your own good. We do have soulmate coming out here, twin flame, soul contract, soul connection, and past lives. And in the romance angel, when I picked up the deck, the past lives card fell out. So this could be someone from a past life that you've had a connection with in a past life or multiple past lives. It could be any one of these labels as well, but it is definitely someone you've had a soul tie and a soul contract with. We do have the grass is greener that flipped over as well. Jealousy, better option, unhappy, deserve better. So they were always in this jealous energy. They were always in this very unhappy energy. They were looking for the better option, even when they were with you. So when you left, and again, I'm just going based on the energy. It feels like you're the one that left. But when you left, they really believed that they were going to be able to find someone to fill your mile-long shoes. And they still to this day haven't. And they're left in this energy of like, wow, like I just didn't realize how much they did for me. And so they're really struggling right now. And you could be like, good, they deserve to struggle. And of course, that's where our healing comes in, right? It's not about wishing that on others. It's hopefully just really us coming to this place of compassion. It's like, wow, I really hope they find the road to their highest alignment and love in their life, right? That's when we know we've come into a place of forgiveness and compassion for ourselves, because you don't need to hold on to the chains of this anymore. Don Juan, yeah, this was someone who is like, they thought they were God's gift to men or God's gift to women. Spotlight your positive, seductive qualities. And the shadow is using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. This could have been someone who cheated on you as well, and they regret that now. And here's the thing, like, they're getting to the age. This is what this really feels like too, is like they're getting to the age where people and women or men, right, or whoever they're attracted to, where whoever they're attracted to aren't putting up with this stupid game anymore, right? There's this age, it feels like age barrier now, where it's like you've reached an age where that's just not okay anymore. Even if they're in their 20s, like, it's just people around them are just like, this is just not okay. Like, we shouldn't even do this anymore, right? The moon. Satisfy emotional needs, nurture self and others. And so you had to move on to nurture and love yourself and satisfy yourself. Let's see what the shadow aspect is here. Wow, unpredictable. You never know what they'll do. Unreliable and a live wire. Yeah, this is someone who had some serious anger issues and they took it out on you. And I'm going to tell you the reason why they took it out on you is because they were cheating. And it was like easier to take those emotions out on you than to face the fact of that guilt and that shame within. Right? They did something that was inexcusable between you and them. I'm not going to say unforgivable, because the minute we say it's unforgivable, we're saying we're never going to heal from this situation. But it was definitely inexcusable. Like, they didn't have a valid excuse for doing what they did. They just did it. And now it's coming back around, and the guilt of it is really, really heavy. And they have to face that. That's their decision. They have to face that part of them. So we have change, regeneration, growth, metamorphosis, and cycles. And you're the one that changed. Like, they forced you into a place to change, and they're over here like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I did that. You deserve to change. You deserve to see better energies in your life. You deserve to have better love in your life. Addiction, again. What was the other one? Addiction. Codependency. Addictions are, what did it say? Affecting your romantic life. And we have addiction with toxic attachment, drugs, alcohol, and obsession. So this person could be addicted to sex. Okay? They could be addicted to validation. They could be addicted to alcohol and drugs. This could be addiction to being, you know, treating people a certain way or being treated a certain way. Definitely addiction here in codependency. Yeah, free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. You had to free yourself from this situation. This was a cage. This was very toxic. Children. Your love life is being affected by children. Now, you could have children with this person, okay? And it's been very difficult because you still have, maybe there's joint custody here, or you're trying to fight for sole custody. I'm not getting any legal energy in here, which is interesting. But what I do feel like is if that doesn't resonate with you, this individual has children from another situationship, and you knew about that. And that created a lot of tension between you and them because you saw how they showed up for those children. Or more, I should say, how they didn't show up for those children. So this person is definitely showing their true colors, but I do feel like you excused it for a long time because you believed you were in love with them too. And that's not to blame yourself or beat yourself up. That's not what this is. It's just reminding you that, you were blinded by the red flags because you were ready and willing to accept what this person had, based on what you grew up accepting in your own home and as your own childhood wound. And this is also pointing towards that. Like, this is this person's childhood wound in full spotlight, just out in the open, is them being in this energy. That's their childhood wound coming out. Honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. So I do feel like this is just sort of saying, like, you had to be honest with yourself and you had to be real with yourself, especially when it came to this situation, which was a lot easier said than done. Gratitude. I'm thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. And I feel like you're very grateful. You learned so much from this situation. So yeah, they do regret it. I feel like these two cards were for you because you went through something that was absolutely horrifying with this person, and it doesn't matter what it was. It's for you, it was horrifying. It was tumultuous and unruly, and now you're in this place of seeing that it brought you to freeing yourself from a cage that had been around you for many, many years, and now knowing that it's okay for you to love yourself, and even more, it's okay for you to love yourself and to thrive in this world, which I feel like is what you're doing, or you're absolutely stepping in that energy now. So you're doing a good job. You've done amazing things, and I'm proud of you for choosing yourself, because this is not an easy situation to walk away from, right? But doing so allowed you to become who you were meant to become. So this is what I see here for you, and if you feel like this is your reading, leave the little broken heart emoji down below and say, sometimes our broken hearts lead us to roads that give us everything that we've ever desired or wanted. While they're hard, they can be beneficial. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, please check out the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here and get on out of here. But I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very deep, very powerful message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.